Welcome, GinGee GoodEarth, Universal History of the United States. Let us begin on page 35. It now became extremely inconvenient to bring all causes to Jamestown before the governor and council. Thus originated the present county courts of Virginia. In this year, the cup of prosperity, of which the colony now began to taste, was dashed from their lips by an event which shook to its foundation and nearly destroyed the colony. In the year 1618, Powhatan, the most powerful of the Indian kings in Virginia, who after the marriage of his daughter to Mr. Rolfe had remained faithful to the English, departed this life, and was succeeded by Opechancanough, a bold and cunning chief, remarkable for his jealousy and hatred of the new settlers. But for a considerable time, the general peace remained undisturbed. The Indians were furnished with firearms and taught the use of them. They were admitted at all times freely into the habitations of the English as harmless visitants, were fed at their tables and lodged in their chambers. The 22nd of March was designated as the day on which all the English were to be at the same instant attacked. Thus, in 1 hour, and almost at the same instant, fell 347 men, women, and children. The massacre would have been still greater had not information been given the preceding night to a Mr. Pace by an Indian, who disclosed to him the plot. He immediately carried the intelligence to Jamestown, and the alarm was given to some of the nearest settlements, which were thereby saved. As soon as intelligence reached England of these calamities of the sufferers, relief was ordered. Arms from the Tower were delivered to the treasurer and company, and several vessels were immediately dispatched with articles for their relief. While the Virginians were mourning their losses, the Plymouth Company began to experience the distress of famine. By the time their planting was finished, 1623, their provisions were so far exhausted that they had neither bread nor corn. For 3 or 4 months, a drought continued from May until sometime in July. Under these afflictions, they appointed a day of fasting and prayer. To humble themselves before God. But a plentiful harvest soon followed, which was noticed by a day of thanksgiving. Mr. White, a nonconformist minister at Dorchester, who had prevented some few of his countrymen who had settled around the Bay of Massachusetts from returning to England by his assurances of procuring them relief and assistance, formed by the great exertions and association of several gentlemen who had imbibed puritanical opinions, for purpose of conducting thither a colony